Les cuento que el nuevo técnico de Liverpool, Arne Slot, habló de Luis Díaz y dijo cosas muy buenas. Aquí les traigo subtitulado traducido lo que él dijo. También les traigo subtitulado traducido un análisis de los 3 canales más influyentes de hinchas de Liverpool sobre Luis Díaz. Hablen de su partido del otro día, de los 2 goles, de su futuro, de cómo lo ven en este formato de Arne Slot. También hablan un poco de los rumores que se generaron esta semana del Manchester City, del Barcelona, o del Manchester City fue un humo generado por un periodista del Chiringuito el otro día y fue mentira. Hablan de todo eso, también mencionan a este muchacho, Anthony Gordon. Es el extremo izquierdo del Newcastle. Ahí pueden ver algunos de los goles. Algunos dicen que lo venía a reemplazar a Lucho Díaz, otros dicen que viene sea como sea y le va a hacer competencia a Lucho Díaz. Unos dicen que es mejor, otros dicen que no tanto. De todo eso hablan en ese análisis. Así que no olviden de suscribirse, darle like al video. El like me ayuda mucho. El like ayuda a que más gente vea el video. Y eso me ayuda a mí también, me da ánimo para hacer todos estos videos de traducción y subtítulos que cuestan mucho tiempo hacerlos. No se imaginan cuánto cuesta hacer estos videos, así que espero les guste. Dejen su comentario sobre todo esto, me gusta leerlos y contestarles cuando puedo. Después de esta primera fecha les traeré noticias sobre los colombianos en Inglaterra o de otras partes, pero especialmente en Inglaterra. Ya saben, Sinisterra en el Bournemouth, en el Crystal Palace Muñoz y Lerma, en el Aston Villa Durán y pues del Watford si pasa algo con Asprilla en el Watford. Todo eso se los traigo en unos días. Disfruten esto, disfruten los partidos. Empieza la temporada en varias de las ligas. Esto es Golazo. Nos vemos muy pronto. Disfruten el video.
His future is with us because I like a lot what I've seen in the last 10 days that he's in, and I saw the same last season. So he's had a big impact on the Liverpool seasons, and I'm hoping that he has a big impact in the upcoming season as well.
For me, the thing I most like about Diaz is 2 goals. I think, first and foremost, we know he needs to add a little bit more of that to his game. Only gets 8 league goals last season. His expected goals was 11. But the thing that I liked about both his chances was they end up both being really, really good chances, both really high-value chances, to use that terminology. And I think that, to me, that bodes really well. For me, the question isn't, can Diaz stick the ball in the back of the net? The question is, can Diaz repeatedly get into positions where sticking the ball in the back of the net is easier for him? And we get that yesterday, both once where he makes it himself and once where it's made for him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's been a bit of a weird thing with Diaz where, because it's sort of seemed like he potentially could be off this summer for the last few months, it's almost like people have been sort of too comfortable with the idea of him leaving and have almost downplayed how good he can be. And I actually think there were a number of times in that sort of second half of the campaign when Liverpool dropped off a little bit last season where Diaz was probably Liverpool's best player. And I think the fact that he missed chances, you know, worked against him. Obviously he had that huge one, didn't he, against Manchester City that he missed, and a couple against United as well. And I totally agree. I think he does need to add that to his game. But I think you can't sort of overstate how important, when he's on his game, how important he is to the way that Liverpool play.
Talk is that Luis Diaz is available for around 65 to 75 million. I don't think that's new news. However, someone did trigger the fan base today by coming out with a fake story saying that Man City had bid and had it accepted and all that. That's not true. However, the talk is, especially with Barcelona missing out on Nico Williams, that they're backing for Luis Diaz. Are you worried, Drift?
Extremely. There's 2 parts. So the first part is I don't want him to leave. You lot already know that's my guy. I believe under Slot he will cook. And I still think he's done a brilliant job so far under all the circumstances he's been through. So I don't want him to go from that point of view. Secondly, if we sell him, I know which boy we're going to go and buy. And if he's the only signing we make, yeah, Lord have mercy on our souls.
The reports in Spain and a little bit from Colombia, not a huge surprise that Barca are in for him if he is their plan B, but for Liverpool to sell Luis Diaz now, again, you'd have to have some ducks in a row and you'd have to have at least 1 or 2 names lined up ready to push the button on before you'd even consider doing it at this point.
Yeah, and you're also going to want to try and get the actual price that you want, because Barcelona don't have loads of money at this moment in time.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be selling Luis Diaz for cheap, that's for sure, especially, you know, after what he did the other day in the pre-season game. If you can get that level out of him, the level that, you know, he joined Liverpool and pushed trust Mane with, then that is a top quality left winger. The problem is that it seems like he's not being able to hit that that kind of height for a little while. And also on top of that, it's his end product that's a little bit of a problem.
I've been a little bit unsure on Diaz, I think it's fair to say, in spite of what I've seen at the weekend and stuff like that. Obviously 2 goals against Sevilla, but yeah, I think Liverpool wouldn't be entertaining bids for Luis Diaz at this moment in time unless they had something lined up, and it was the answer really to this problem lined up. And listen, it may be Gordon, it may be somebody else, who knows, but yeah, I think also Barcelona, 75 million euros, wasn't it, whether they can stump up that sort of cash. I've seen the possibility of players involved in a deal as well. That was my first thought.
Give me Pedri, Gavi or Lamine Yamal and I'll be quite happy.
That was
it's never going to happen.
For me, certainly going into next week, I'd be more than happy Diaz having that sort of left wing spot locked down, because I think he's a tremendous footballer, and if he can just, as you say, get those high quality chances and start putting a few more in the back of the net, then I think he'd be a top player for Liverpool.
The Barcelona thing is appealing. I think he's too good to play for Barcelona, and I don't mean Barcelona, the world-class institution, the one that has won European Cups and La Ligas and owned Messi. I mean the Barcelona that can't afford to register footballers.
I think he's shown pre-season he's got the appetite. I'd even say he's ahead of Cody Gakpo as well. I think in this system he will do way better. Can he be replaced? Yes. However, I agree with Drift. I don't want the replacement to be Anthony Gordon. And it seems like Liverpool are actually obsessed with Anthony Gordon. I would rather Diaz stay than we get Anthony Gordon.
Diaz then. We've spoke about him a lot, Dan. I'll stick with you on it in terms of like what he is, what he isn't, what he can do, what he can't do. Again, it's one pre-season game, but you look mighty effective in the new system the other day. That link up that him and Salah had, if Liverpool are going to play out from the back and try and free out Salah with pace, you need the other winger, Sadio Mane-esque, to be getting on the end of things. Yeah. And Luis Diaz proved a couple of times. He was there a couple of times, thereabouts doing that kind of stuff. You'd have to be signing someone excellent, because I think Luis Diaz is a very good player. I think there's another level that you probably can get to in player, but whoever you're signing has to be there. That isn't an easy one, I don't think, to go like, here's a left winger who is definitely better than Luis Diaz, 100%, who you can get, who you know is going to come in when you've got this lad here anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's the deal with Diaz, isn't it? Potentially, he's a very good player. You're gonna have to sign an elite, great player to make it worth your while.
Yeah, because otherwise, why are you doing it? Absolutely, yeah. You're right. I think Diaz is of a certain level. I think there's certain improvements you could make in terms of his all-round game, in terms of what he offers. But once again, come back to what we've seen. Arne Slot, Liverpool, Luis Diaz is really, really promising. It's really exciting. It was definitely a different type, a different way he was playing the game. He was much more in the width of the post and all that sort of stuff you mentioned in there, getting on the end of stuff. The things that he's lacked, really, all the stuff that Sadio Mane used to do. We know he can carry it forwards. We know he can beat a player. We know he's got the skills and the dribbling ability to do that sort of stuff. We've seen him run with Kyle Walker and Rodri ragged last year at Man City, so that's never been in question, Luis Diaz. What has been in question is the numbers, the end product, but 60 minutes, whatever it was at the weekend, 2 goals. Could have had a third. Like, that is Luis Diaz. If Arne Slot had come in and just simply focused on getting Diaz on the end of more stuff, telling him to get in the box more, because I actually think when he has the goal at his mercy, if you like, he has the capability to score them sort of goals. His finish at the weekend was boss. Crystal Palace springs to mind last season, whereby he found a way, even a Luton goal, different type of goal, obviously header, but he can finish. It's just getting him those moments, getting him those opportunities more often, which he's been fell short of, I think.